Welcome to the This Lyric, That Truth podcast.
I love it.
I'm so excited to introduce you to our first guest that is on the other side of the table, Mr. Jason Crabb. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on today.
So happy to have you. So
I'm your first artist.
First artist. Yes. So you're going to have to just buckle in because I have so many questions.
Can I tell you something? Everything is up from here, honey. If I'm
After
your
this
first artist, it's getting good. Yeah.
I mean, I'm holding out for Toby Mac.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Everything is up from here.
I'm just kidding. I was listening to the radio a couple months ago, and there was a lyric in a song that just really spoke to my soul. And it happened to be the Cody Carnes song, Firm Foundation, where it says, I can have joy in chaos and peace that makes no sense. And I was like, I'm a mom of four, got a busy career, married to a pastor. What I'm looking for in my life is joy in chaos and peace that makes no sense. And so I would sing that over and over and over again, and it really encouraged me. And so I thought everybody that we hear from on the radio has a story of a lyric that just jumps out of a song and connects with their soul. And so we started just talking to people, asking them, okay, for you, what is that lyric? And what's the truth of why it's inspiring you? And so it's so exciting to talk to you today because you're a writer of these songs that speak to people's souls and the lyrics. And so I have so many questions about how you go about writing them, where your inspiration comes from. But first of all, give us a little background into your life and how you start from the beginning.
So here's the lyric to my life.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful story. I met a sweet young lady when I was 18 years old, which is now my wife. We dated for 3 years, got married when I was 21. She is incredible. Her name is Ashleigh. Now think about this. God orchestrated it. Her first name is Ashleigh, and her last name was going to be changed to Crabb. Ashleigh Crabb. Anyway. Okay. So we have two beautiful children.
Okay.
We've been married for 26 years. We have two beautiful children. One is 21. She travels on the road with me. She went to school at Lee University in Cleveland, which I found out that some people here went there. Anyways, and then my youngest is graduating this year. She is going to Lindsey Wilson University. She signed a basketball scholarship to go play there. So we're excited for her. And honestly, the God lyric would be the joys of what he has blessed me with my family. That right there is just gorgeous. Now, I traveled 14 years before I went out on my own with my siblings, and that was a beautiful time as well, called the Crabb family. I mean, So we did that and toured around like the Partridge Family. We were that,
Big bus.
Yeah, big bus. And if you got married, you had to share your bunk with your spouse, which was like a coffin. It really was. But we were close. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, it was.
So you grew up in the musical family and the touring situation. That wasn't anything new to you.
No, I actually, before we went out on the road, I was, a pastor's kid, a PK, and so I learned the beautiful things about church. A lot of people talk about the bad things, but the beautiful things about church is, you got to be the very first ones there when disaster struck. Like if there was a tornado or there was a house fire, or if there was something that was going on in the community, the church is the first ones there. Now, all of the other NGOs, I love them, the nonprofits and all of those things.
Yeah.
But you take the church out of the world.
Yeah.
And see how much help that actually goes on in the world. And I got to be a part of watching that happen and be there. And so that's really kind of my life summed up. I've been on the road for 31 years, travel over 160, 50, 60 dates a year. So I'm an old,
And then you have one daughter who's on the road with you. Is she musical as well?
Oh, she is phenomenal.
Okay.
She's
Does
great.
she play with you?
She sings.
She sings.
She
Okay.
sings. She did a little song. It's an old kind of standard gospel standard that's been out for a minute. It was called Daystar. Somebody, and I sang harmony with her, and then her boyfriend travels with us as well. They've been dating for 2 years. I thought, well, how better to keep my eye on them instead of put them on the road. And he played guitar too. He's amazing. So.
Okay. Well, that was lucky for
Yeah,
you.
that was a blessing. So I've got both of them out on the road with me, and we sang harmony with her on the song. It was out for like 7 days, and it had over 260,000 views. It was on some random person's page, and it started just going crazy. And I was like, man, that's amazing. So she's got a book coming out called Growing Pains.
What's that about?
It's about, being a young teenager. Me?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, probably so.
No, it's okay. Tell me what it's about.
It's I think it's her life about how trying to fit in didn't work, and how friends turned their back on her. It got pretty tough. I even had to pull her out her senior year. It got so bad. Okay. I had one parent say, you're too involved in your child's life. And I said, thank you. That's the best compliment I've ever had in my whole entire life. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So she kind of went through those things, but it's just a raw look at, hey, I was there too. I've been there. Let me show you, or let me just tell you how I got out of it. And it's called Growing Pains. Great book.
When does that get
Deborah
released?
Evans Price. Deborah Evans Price. She has written more articles for Billboard, interviewed from Bon Jovi to Uncle Pen. You know what I'm saying? It's just really, she was the ghostwriter in this with Ashleigh. Okay. So it's really, really cool.
Okay. When does it get released?
The artwork is being done right now. So I would say probably the end of this year.
Because I know that that's going to connect with so many. I'm a mom of 3 daughters. And so I know that that's going to connect with so many.
The cool thing about the concept of this is for mothers to hand this to their girls that are in their bedroom wondering what's life look like past this, because, we have a hard time getting past the pain that we're in. If we can look for that hope that's past that, then we have another reason to take another step. But also mothers reading that too, knowing what daughters are facing that are locking themselves, in their bedroom, to know how to go fight those types of things as well.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be a big help. God plan. God's got his hand on this child. I'm telling you, whether it's my child, whether it's somebody else's, her demeanor, her spirit is just beautiful.
You must be so proud.
I am.
And what a testimony to come on the other side of I'm a mom to a 15-year-old. So I'm like, yes, this is the message we need.
She would tell you, she would go, all the things that I was telling you was lies. And she goes, because I knew who you were. And that's what you had to hear. And man, it breaks my heart, because I want to be the person, that hey, look, come tell me everything. And I've tried to open that door. Yeah. Look, we had a discussion one time where she had done something and we found out that was just not healthy. Yeah. Not healthy for her. And I came home and I said, and I'm coming off the road. It's Sunday. I come up the road. I lay my bag down. I go straight into her bedroom. I flip on the light. Now she's got her light out at 8:00 with her head facing the wall. And that's not the thing, but Mama had said Daddy's coming home. She is 15, 16, 15. No, she wasn't 16 yet. She's 15. And it wasn't nothing. It was just something that was going to lead down a path that if she couldn't say no to this, what's next? Yeah. And so I just walked in and I'm like, hey, let's talk. And we talked and she goes, Dad, I don't understand why I did this. And I said, well, we do it. Yeah. And I said, but if it was the pressure of peers, that's what concerns me. If you didn't want to and you was just nervous about not fitting in, that's what makes me nervous. I want to talk to you about that. And I said, is there, and this is what God gave me. I said, is there anything that I can do different? Because you're my first, and this is my first time being a parent. And if I can help lead you down a path that's better, and I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. We're in this thing of life together. The last thing I want you to be turned to the wall and crying and worried about what I think. I said, no, I want you to be out enjoying life and happy and all these kinds of things. What can I do better?
Did she reply?
She broke and she said, Dad, it's not you. And I said, I said, please know that I'm for you.
Yeah.
And I said, look, you know better. Please be stronger. If you have anything, I said, let's just pray and ask God to help us both to figure this out. I said, I love you. We prayed. And I said, Ashleigh, I'll never bring this up to you ever again. I'm done. Don't worry about it. Get up. Let's go. Whatever. She looked up at me. I'll never forget this. She said, Dad, you're my best friend. And I love you. I wasn't trying to be your best friend. I was trying to be a parent. But I also know that I'm flawed and I ain't going to get it right. And we're in this together. Yeah. And I truly wanted to know if I was doing the right. I mean, I know it's kind of crazy. Some people probably right now are going, you're the parent and you're the one that's supposed to know and you're the one that's supposed to direct and all this kind of stuff. But if I'm failing in the directing, if it's like I'm hitting a brick wall,
how do you think?
What is that? Is that help?
How do you think that would have gone differently had you come home so upset, you bust open the door to her room, you slam something down, you shake her out of bed? That conversation and that future is different than having the spirit that you came into it with of opening the door for conversation, being vulnerable, not pointing your finger at her and yelling at her, but opening it up. And then also, how can I change? What can I do differently? That's a whole different way to parent through a really tough situation that I think we need to hear.
I think the key to it is this. If I would have walked in the way that I felt at the moment,
that's good.
When I found out, it would have looked different. I had time to ask the Lord for help. I was in the back of the bus coming home, just weeping and crying. I was like, God, she's yours, and I want to get this right. I don't know. I'm trying.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I love any more than my kids, my family, my wife. I love them. I'll do anything in the world. To a fault, I worry so much about stuff, which I shouldn't. I know it kind of contradicts everything that I'm sitting here going, but it's just because of the love that I have for them.
Right.
I see a storm brewing. I'm calm, checking the weather. I'm going, hey, look,
Yeah.
But I asked the Lord for help.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a turning point in her life, in her journey? Does she reflect on that in the book?
I don't know. I haven't read the whole book, but I will say it was a turning point. Yeah. I felt it. I felt it in her decisions. And I think it was a turning point because she caught a glimpse of who her father wanted to be for her and how I really felt. You know what I mean?
Well, you have written the song Good Morning Mercy, and what I hear in that is, in a practical way, you extended her mercy.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what
mercy is, though. Mercy is not punishing you according to what you deserve.
Aren't you thankful we don't get that?
Yes. Yes.
I am so thankful.
But that's what I hear in a real practical sense from the heart of a father.
Yeah.
Like you
learned
really
so much
did.
about him.
And I'm sure you haven't done every situation with your kids like this, right? But maybe you have. But that's what that is screaming to me. Like that's a real moment where you were able to offer mercy. And when we can experience that from an earthly father, how much easier is it in future stuff to be able to accept that from a heavenly father?
Two things I think that happens here and that we learn. One is we ask the Lord to help our heart, keep our heart soft, tender, full of grace and mercy. And we experience that from him. You experience that from prayer and reading the word and all of those things. It happens. There's just something that happens when that's why it's so important. People, they're like religion, Christianity. I'm like, it's so much more than that. I wish I could show you. It's more than just I'm right or you're wrong or you're wrong and I'm right. It's a lifestyle of tenderness and love and grace and a field full of flowers and also the storms and
all of it,
making it through and it's all of those things. That's what Christianity is all about. Parenting. And the thing that taught me about God's love more than anything was children. I know how much I love my kids. And if God loves me more than I could even fathom to love my children, then I can't. It's hard to grab hold of.
When you write songs like Good Morning Mercy, or I know we have a new one coming up we're pretty excited about, where do you get your inspiration? Is it all of that?
All of it, life. When we wrote this song, I really wanted, it says in the scriptures, mercies are made new every day.
Lamentations.
Yeah, I love that. And that's kind of where I wanted to write this song from. I'd had some very serious songs. I had some that go down deep. But, there's some that you just want to fling the blinds open and go, sun, shine on my face, hit me. I want to see I'm going to give God praise for his goodness. I just, you know what I mean? That air hit me. That is the place that I wanted to write this song from, about the grace and the mercy of God, about giving you another day, about there's joy on the other side, whatever it is, Do
you have a favorite lyric in the song?
Oh my goodness. Well, honestly feels like the sun shining on my face.
I like that.
Living good this side of grace.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you smile. It's kind of cool. I wish I could say I came up with it. Well, good morning, mercy. You call me worthy. Feels like the sun shining on my face. Living's good this side of grace. All these lyrics come from him. I know me. I ain't smart enough to come up with this. But I'm so thankful he let me have this one.
Yeah. I love playing this one on the radio and singing along to it. And tell me about your new song.
Oh, new song is a little deeper.
Okay.
It goes down in the mud. It grabs a hold of some roots and pulls them up and exposes some of that stuff that has to be exposed and weeds out some stuff that has to be weeded out. And, people go through some junk, just some junk in life. People make messes. The hardest messes to get over are self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
They're the ones that cause you to dampen your pillow at night when nobody else is, looking and everybody else in the house is asleep and you're laying there going, how am I going to get through this? Why did I do this? What in the world's going on? And that's where this song comes from. I wish I wrote it. Wish I could say I wrote it.
Why did you connect with it when you heard it?
Because it's 90% of the people you sing to. Honestly, more than that. 100%.
It would be everybody in life. Yeah. If you haven't yet encountered that.
Yeah, really it is.
You will.
Jesus said to the disciples, he said, it's written, thou shalt not do this and this and this. And he said, but I say, if you think them, you've already done them in your heart. In other words, what he's saying is there is a battle that is going on in the mind.
Yeah.
And your mind is causing chaos and your mind is full of mess. And that's the reason that you need the good morning mercy. The mercies are made new every morning.
Yeah.
But it's the reason that, we have to, you need me.
Yeah. Tell me what the new song is called.
It's called God Can Use a Broken Man. And even though it says man, they're mans and women,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's a testimony. I've had so many, now they're using it in Celebrate Recoveries. Guy came to me, he said, I'm in Celebrate Recovery. And he said, this is what I opened the service up with the other day when we did chapel. He said, and people were just in the floor. They're saying that's me. Had a woman that actually successfully took her life come to me 3 days ago and tell me this was her song. She successfully took her life. They found her, brought her back to life. And boy, did they bring her back to life. Somebody introduced Jesus to her.
Wow.
And she is both arms wrapped around him. You know
Could
what I mean?
Could you sing me a little bit of it? It doesn't have to be like broadcast quality.
Yeah.
Just sing me some of it.
God can use a broken man. He can take all of my failures, make us whole again. I'm living proof. Yes, I am, that God can use a broken man. But the first part is the key, the setup to, I've been down to the bottom. I was looking at a mountain I could not climb. I was addicted, if I'm being honest, for a long time. And then the second verse is the victory verse. Now I've been changed forever. Never gonna go back, that I am free. I like this. The taste of forgiveness is better than anything I could ever dream. And so it's kind of that,
Wow.
hope, message of hope, people that's going through,
Do you get how important it is to all of us that you use your God-given gift to share a song like that, so that every broken person who tunes into whatever Christian radio station or wherever they get their Christian music can hear that, identify it, put themselves in that position, coming out of an addiction or pain or sorrow. And it's like, but wait a minute, God can use me. Like, this is life-changing for people.
Mm-hmm. It's for everyone.
It's for everyone.
Honesty and Christianity go to the world. I think the place where we all got in trouble is when we tried to act like we had the message down. Like that's, what he had for us, living that out. I think honesty is the key to reaching the broken. To make everyone feel the same in the room. I think this is a key for a pastor. If the pastor can make the saints, the greatest saint, the person that's been living for Jesus the longest, and the greatest sinner, or the person that's walked through the door for the very first time, if he can make the whole room feel the same, because we are all the same, every one of us. We're one step away from catastrophe. We're one move away from disaster. We're one thought, one step could end it all. But thank God for, my dad wrote a song. It's called The Shepherd's Call. And the lyric of that song, oh my goodness, probably one of my favorite lyrics that there is. I'm going to re-record that one day and put it out to where people they need to hear this lyric. It says, I wandered far from the fold where I was safe. It wasn't long till I'd lost my way. There on that ledge, one more step could have ended it all. But I felt his hand and I heard the shepherd's call. That's for us. I think all of us, if we can be real and we can go out and just say, this is us, we can reach a lot more people. We said this earlier. I think we can love people to the cross faster than we can push them.
Sure. That's a message the world needs to hear. Can you say that again?
Well, we can love people to the cross faster than we can push them. Because if you take somebody by the hand or wrap your arm around them, maybe even pick them up and show them the way, I promise you, they'll take a good look at it. If you push them down in front of it, that's kind of the way they did. That's a total different message.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing your amazing heart with us.
I hope you get Toby in here.
No, there's only going down. There's only going downhill from here on out.
Here's what I'm going to say. His heart, his message, and his life, what he has been through.
Yeah.
His perseverance is. He's one of the strongest dudes. To keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
And to keep telling people, he'll tell you the same stuff.
Yeah.
Same stuff that I just sit here and said, we're all broken. Yeah. We might be on a stage. Stages might look different.
Yeah.
Music might sound different. It's the same lyric. Every bit of it's pointing to Jesus and how much we need him.
This lyric, that truth. It was awesome having you with us today.
Kind of the right podcast, isn't it?
Yes.
Good
and
job.
The perfect person to be the first artist guest.